Welcome to the Live Wire, and today we're going to be talking about the latest addition to campus, the building known as Portal. We're going to talk about what goes on inside and one of the key activities that the university is involved in called Ventureprise. And with us today, Marilyn Carpenter, who is the Ventureprise Venture Development Director, and Paul Wetenhall, the President and Executive Director of Ventureprise. So thank you both for being here and braving the elements on this snowy day. It looks a little Currier and Ives-ish out there right now, but
it's looking great, and we've both lived in upstate New York, so we're ready to deal with it.
I think we're all experienced in the north on this set at least,
That's
so
right.
we're enjoying the spectacle, I guess you'd have to say. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about Portal and the fact that CRI, that sector of campus over there where all those beautiful red brick buildings are, has a new addition in the part of campus that I think over time is probably going to become increasingly known as the main entrance of UNC Charlotte off of 29. And Portal, if we learn nothing else today, let's go through the primer on what Portal stands for.
Sure.
Take it away.
Sure. Portal, of course, stands for the fact that it's the entry point into the university, but it's a somewhat tortured acronym, Partnership, Outreach, Research to Accelerate Learning. So it's a mouthful, and I think after we dedicate the building in a few weeks, I think we'll all stick with Portal as what we use to describe it. But it's one of those things that universities have found now are really important as a way to connect the resources, faculty and student, with the business community and with the broader community, with the whole objective of supporting economic development. So we like to think that we're going to become the front door, as you say, into the university.
Marilyn, what about those first two letters standing for partnership and outreach, and what's the state of affairs in this region, in this city, and its relationship with the university when it comes maybe specifically to the kinds of partnership and outreach opportunities that come through applied research and technology transfer and the application of the knowledge that we are developing here at UNC Charlotte?
Well, I think the opportunity is with corporate partners through CRI, and certainly bringing industry to the campus for introduction to academics.
Yeah, that is so many other things that we talk about here on the Livewire cut right to the chase of what it means to be North Carolina's urban research university. But
Right.
this kind of epitomizes it, doesn't it? And
It definitely does. When you look back at the history of UNC Charlotte, the research enterprise here is relatively recent. We're a young university overall, and we got serious about research, which means that we began to offer PhD programs. Now we're up over 20 different PhD programs. We now attract $30 million or more of federal research funding. And so we're really building that kind of research capability. Interestingly, there are initiatives on campus not only for faculty and PhD students to do research, but there's increasing attention to undergrad students having a chance to plug in. And research is the place where you create new knowledge, and that's, of course, right at the core of what any university does. Where we take it, and we do this in partnership with the people in the Office of Technology Transfer, is really to look at it and say, research is great, and you expand the knowledge of humanity, that's a good thing. But ultimately, it's when that research turns into a product or service that you or I can purchase. That's when research changes lives. And so whether it's some medical work that's being done, a breast cancer detection that's been developed here on campus, whether it's somebody with a new material that they've developed, or any of the many different things, it's when it finds its way into the marketplace that research makes people's lives better, creates jobs, generates wealth, and all those are things that are right at the core of what we want to do.
Yeah, and I would just add to that our opportunity at Ventureprise is, there are a lot of folks in Charlotte, in the Charlotte region, that think that UNC Charlotte, they don't know what's happening up here. It's like the best kept secret. And our ability to bring industry, whether it be entrepreneurs or through Charlotte Research Institute corporate partners, our ability to bring industry up here, to introduce them to all that's happening with this new emerging research university, it's pretty exciting.
Let's be real clear on what is going to be happening in that building called Portal. It is not a building full of classrooms
That's correct.
or faculty offices.
Right. The building has a couple of main entrances. One faces the campus and welcomes students and faculty. One faces Tryon Street, and we think of that as welcoming the broader community, businesses in particular. And the functions that you find inside the building, first of all, the university's Office of Technology Transfer. And that office is the group that's charged with both protecting the intellectual property generated at the university and commercializing that intellectual property. So that office is the place where a professor or grad student who's got a new invention would go for assistance in patenting it and so forth. So that's one core function of the university that's located in the building. Ventureprise, which is a nonprofit strongly supported by the university and tightly integrated with the university, has its office there. And in turn, we have client companies in the building. So when we're full, we'll have 20 to 24 companies that will all be young companies that Ventureprise will be working with, and we can talk more about that.
Sure.
We'll have a student business incubator, and this is something that's new for us. We did a pilot of a student incubator at the Ben Craig Center. We've had about 15 companies there, and that will be a major focus in Portal, and that's where students will plug in. And then finally, we have some parts of the building that are focused on corporate partners, not the small early stage entrepreneur, but more established companies. There's a portion of the building that's dedicated to classified research, and then a larger part of the building that's available for a corporate partner that might want to do joint training with the university, joint research, other kinds of things where they want a presence on campus.
Classified being the kind of research you would do on a certain kind of government contract for the most part.
Correct.
Defense
Typically
or something.
defense,
Yeah.
homeland security.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is a building like Portal something that it would be commonplace on most established research university campuses?
If you asked me that question 10 or 15 years ago, I'd say it would be rare at that point. Few places had it. But today, you're seeing more universities offering similar things. Georgia Tech, through their Advanced Technology Development Center, has had a similar kind of facility for the last 8-10 years. NC State, some others. But it's not yet what I'd call common. It's an increasing prevalence, but not yet something you find everywhere.
Yeah.
So UNC Charlotte's really pretty much on the leading edge of it.
Let's take a look here on the live wire at the website real quickly of the Charlotte Research Institute, and just so that those of you who are watching know that if you go to the main university website and go to cri.uncc.edu, you can learn a lot more detail about what's going on, again, in that area of campus that's known as CRI. Over now, I guess there's another landmark over there, the football stadium, but let's go ahead and say with all those other academic and research related buildings. But then down here on this site, we won't dig into this right now, but I just want people to know that you can come here and learn more specifically about Portal. And then here in the image gallery, you can see construction photos. It's taken how many months have we been building now?
It's been about a 2-year
Okay.
project, a little longer, including site prep.
And now coming up on February 28th is the official dedication, but prior to that, and in fact going on now, is move in. And who's moving into the building right now?
Well, we moved in on February 1st, Saturday, a week ago. The Ventureprise team moved in, and 8 of our companies moving from the Ben Craig Center. Just a few days ago, the 9th company from the Ben Craig Center moved over, C5 Insight, a very successful, rapidly growing company. The tech transfer people moved in this week, so we have pretty much completed the move of the young, early stage companies that are moving in right at inception, and tech transfer is in as well.
So on that dedication day on the 28th, you're going to see a close to fully functional, or at least partially functional operation over there?
Oh, we like to think we're fully functional today, other than maybe
Some of us
losing
are.
a few things. We're at a stage now where the building is actually fully functional. All the construction's complete. They're cleaning up a few things, but all the conference rooms and things are available. There are some final outfitting. If you go in the building today, the LCD displays are dark, but they'll be live by the 28th. So, but the kinds of activities that we're doing with our early stage companies are already underway. We're meeting with the companies, as Marilyn and I and others do, in terms of working with them. We're about to get going with some of our student incubator companies. We have an event coming up next week that's part of the Charlotte Venture Challenge that will be there. So the building's coming to life, but it will ultimately take 18, maybe even 24 months to be fully occupied, both with the companies we're working with and the more corporate class kinds of companies. We want the best and the brightest there, and that means it takes some time to get all those in.
You know, and just scratching the surface about Portal and Ventureprise, there's so much that even you're presenting now that I want to be sure that we understand one of the pieces of the core of Portal and at the center of what you do. Let's talk a little bit about Ventureprise and what it is, where it came from, and what you're doing. And while you're doing it, we'll just call up the Ventureprise website, and we'll take a look at that while you're telling us a little bit about the Ventureprise story, what it is for starters.
Sure, I'll start and ask Marilyn to add to it. Ventureprise has its roots in UNC Charlotte faculty person of over 25 years ago, John Benson, who thought at the time that it would be great if Charlotte did a better job of supporting small business. And that was in the days when the concept of a business incubator was a pretty new concept. John Benson and a variety of community leaders put together what came to be known as the Ben Craig Center. And that was originally in rented space on Tryon Street, ultimately built the building that we know as the Ben Craig Center on Mallard Creek Road today.
Right.
And for that period from 1986 through January 31st, we operated a business incubator there. A few years ago, as we really looked at what the university needed, what the community needed, it became clear that this whole entrepreneurial sector really needed more intensive focus in Charlotte. We had just gone through the 2008-9 economic downturn, the vulnerability of Charlotte in terms of concentration in financial services had been made pretty clear. And so our board of directors at the old Ben Craig Center, we put together a strategic plan and really said, let's work more broadly on building a regional ecosystem that supports innovation and entrepreneurship. And as part of that, we changed our name to make our name more descriptive of the type of work we're doing, be less place specific. We made the identification with the university very explicit with the logo and everything that integrated that. So we made that change. That was the ecosystem focus. At the same time, we said, let's do more here at the university. Interestingly, the Ben Craig Center throughout its history, 135 companies, only 9 of them had their roots in the university. And up until that point, a few years ago, we had not had student companies. And so we said, let's really be more proactive in reaching out to faculty researchers, and let's establish a student business incubator. So we could offer students, faculty more entrepreneurial support. And then the final piece was to say, let's be even better than Craig had been in terms of delivering business advisory services to startup and early stage growth companies. And that's when Marilyn joined our team with a lot of background that's relevant. And so today we're working on the regional ecosystem with partners. We're working on providing more entrepreneurial support within the university, and we have a more intensive approach to providing business advice to startups and young companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about who the folks are who are incubating businesses. Let's just say hypothetically, I am at the concept stage for a better mousetrap, and it's going to be a 21st century super high-tech mousetrap with an app, and it's going to be something that other mousetrap related entrepreneurs in Europe and in Asia can watch as I'm developing it through the internet and multimedia technology.
Right.
Do I come to you when I have the idea? Do I come to you when I've gotten it started in my garage? And what am I looking for in you? Just more space for my operation? Or what are you going to do for me and what am I going to do for you?
Yeah, I think both.
Okay.
Both of those folks. The one in the garage we would call pre-revenue, or we've got a great idea. We get a lot of that from university students or faculty that want to commercialize their intellectual property or
Are
their
they coming to you
patents.
with real feasible ideas, or are you
Yes.
getting you're not getting a lot of goofballs like me coming?
No, it's
We do get some.
Yeah.
And that's my word.
Yeah.
That's,
yeah.
you
We
would
don't
never
want to
call me.
dissuade
Yeah, yeah,
anybody
yeah.
from. Everybody has an idea, right?
Yeah. And that's really one of the key things, exactly as Marilyn said, that one of the programs we have is something called Venture Launch, which
Okay.
begins in March. And if you are that mousetrap inventor, we would suggest come to the 6-week Venture Launch effort, because you may think you've got the best mousetrap and you may be very excited about it,
Yeah.
but the real question is, are customers excited? And so the Venture Launch is about what we call customer discovery.
All right.
And so that would be the program specifically
You're
for
either
you.
going to dash
Yeah.
my dreams or solidify my
Or
earnestness
pivot,
here.
right?
Okay,
there's
sure.
there's that word pivot,
Yeah.
where you have an idea about who your ideal market is or who your ideal customer is, and then you find out through discovery that it's something very different. But there is a really good market out there.
Is Charlotte as a city and a region full of mousetrap innovators, or like you said, I mean,
Yeah.
the relatively recent history has been largely associated with, I want to say one industry, but there's also racing and that kind of thing too.
Sure.
But is this fertile ground for ideas and innovations, or is it kind of going to be more so, and you play a role in
Yeah.
both?
Yeah, I'd say Charlotte's transitional in
Okay.
that respect. If you look back at the prior 20 years, we were very much dominated because we had such wonderfully successful large companies. That's where young people often saw their career possibility, working in a tower in Uptown or Ballantyne or University City. But in the last 5 years, there's been a real strong emergence. There's a group called the Inventors Network of the Carolinas, and people come from throughout the Carolinas who are inventors to share their ideas monthly here in Charlotte. There's a really interesting company here in Charlotte called Inventus, headed up by Louis Foreman, and they actually have a program that they've done on public broadcasting, and they've used that to find inventions from all around the country, but they're finding a lot of interesting inventors here. We have something that the community does, which is called Startup Weekend. And people with those better mousetraps show up, and this happened just 2 weeks ago now. They show up on Friday night and they tell 80, 90 people in a room, I've got this great mousetrap, and the group votes it up or down, and if they vote it up and it makes the top 5 or so ideas for the weekend. A team of people will work literally on that idea all weekend. And on Sunday night, they pitch the results, and it often includes the app that's
Neat.
a prototypical application working. There's Startup Weekend, there's our own Charlotte Venture Challenge where people bubble up. So there's a lot of places, there's a lot of ferment. And what you find is, as a community, you want to create those places where people can connect, because that innovation process, you can be a brilliant researcher, a brilliant inventor, but you really need to partner with a highly talented entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's when you get both those kinds of skills together that magic happens.
Yeah.
What are some ways that folks who are part of the UNC Charlotte community might be able to experience the kinds of activities that go on and will go on now in Portal, and the kinds of folks who are attracted to Ventureprise? I imagine any given day, it is a public building. I can walk in. Might not be able to nose around too much, or I mean, what are we going to see if we come over there? But then, what other kinds of events or activities might we be able to partake in as just regular civilians without mousetrap expertise, to just kind of get a sense of the energy and kind of intrigue that you're describing?
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we're trying to capture in the the early days. As Paul was mentioning, we have some new initiatives that are getting launched. We have the Charlotte Venture Challenge that is getting underway that will bring a host of maybe students and pre-revenue companies, as well as other ventures, into the building on a regular basis for workshops and preparation for the competition. We have this customer discovery Charlotte Venture launch that is going to get underway in March. And that will bring just a whole host of new folks and university, interested people into the building. We're also reaching out to established organizations and service providers to the entrepreneurial community that have regular monthly meetings, and saying, come on up to Portal, have your meeting up here, see what the resources are that we have to offer you, not just as being a client tenant, but through innovation connection, of establishing connections with faculty and students and corporate innovators. So from now until June, we have a whole host of kind of open house, come one, come all events.
And people are welcome to wander through any time. In August, we're going to have a cafe in the building, which the food services people promised me is going to be the best place to eat on campus, opening up in August, and it's just a lovely facility.
Good.
But the building itself is just a stunning building architecturally. It looks like every other building on the outside and looks totally distinctive on the inside, very contemporary.
Well, in just a couple minutes, as a way of closing our conversation, I thought we'd take a look at a video feature that was prepared recently. But maybe just one other thought is, could you tell us a little bit more about the Venture Challenge and what that involves, and is it really sort of the prototype for a lot of these reality programs now that have to do with inventors and entrepreneurs? Because it really kind of has that feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Charlotte Venture Challenge.
Without the sharks, right?
Yeah, no sharks.
Shark
No
Tank,
sharks.
yeah.
Maybe a few barracudas. So, the Charlotte Venture Challenge began 13 years ago. It used to be known as 5 Ventures. And it's all about finding students, undergrad and grad students, as well as people from the commercial community, finding people who have really cool, commercially plausible ideas, and helping them refine those ideas. So it's people who have less than a few $100,000 in revenue. They're before they've gotten a lot of cash investment. And it has workshops where people can come and learn more about starting their business. It has a whole program of providing feedback so that you can hear why your mousetrap is a great idea, or maybe how you need to modify it. It ultimately gets down to a finals event this year on May 1st, and that finals event brings in corporate entities who are interested in innovation, a broad range of corporate partners, brings in venture capital and angel investors who are interested potentially in investing. And so it's a great place if you're interested in moving your idea forward to see how it stacks up against other ideas. And at the end of the day, the entrepreneurial effort, you have to be doing something customers want and something, a business model that allows you to succeed financially. The Charlotte Venture Challenge helps you do that, gives you the feedback, and gives you great exposure and connections.
Yeah, and one thing that I would add to that that's interesting for this year and has a special promise for competitors is this element of not going through the typical or the traditional elimination rounds, where more of the teams will make it to the final day and get access to exposure to potential customers with the corporate entities that will be there, as well as investors. And one of the things that we really like about this idea is we draw from the region, all the way last year, all the way from DC to Tennessee and then down to Atlanta or Georgia. And for, startups or new ventures to come into Charlotte and see the rich customer potential that we have here with all of our Fortune 500 companies located here, that's an opportunity for us to attract really talented new ventures into the region.
And applications are due by
That's right.
March 3rd.
March 3rd, 10 p.m.
And so the best place for folks who might be hearing this now and say, wait a minute, I want to get involved in that, if they go to ventureprise.org,
Sure.
they're going to find that information. And for those of us who, again, just might be interested, are there aspects of the competition that we can come and observe or see the closing event? And
Yeah, we'll have a day-long event, and the teams will be having their opportunity to get in front of investors and corporate judges behind closed doors, probably. But we'll have events throughout the day and then the grand finale. So we usually have a pretty big audience for that, and it's, again, come on, come all.
Yeah, it's May 1st.
May 1st. Yeah.
well, if one of the important missions of a university like ours is to be the thought leader and a source of inspiration for our community, it seems like Portal's going to kind of bring all that home in another dimension for the campus. So
That's what we're certainly working on, and the whole focus at Portal is around the innovation-driven enterprise, whether that's the brand new startup, the young growth company, or the corporate entity that is trying to be innovative. And that's really where the university business partnership is so brilliant. It's the kind of intellectual horsepower we have here is exactly what you need if you're trying to run an innovation-based business.
So if folks want to reach out to you and ask you anything more specifically, I'm sure it's all right to do that by email. Or
We'd
through the
love to hear
website.
from folks by email or
All right.
stop by or give us a call.
All right. Well, as I said, as we bring to a close our conversation with Marilyn Carpenter and Paul Wetenhall from Ventureprise, first of all, thank you for doing this and being with us. And I think we're going to want to touch base with you again, maybe not in the not too distant future, just to get a sense of how things are going over there. And we're making arrangements to do some live webcasts from some of the Dedication Day activities on February 28th. So there'll be more information on that on the website. But as a way of closing, I wanted to go to a video segment that is just loaded onto YouTube this week from Inside UNC Charlotte, the television program that airs the first Sunday of each month on WTVI, produced right here at UNC Charlotte. And for those of you who may be watching this and may wonder where some of this video content is available, just go to YouTube. And you can go right up here to the search bar and search for UNC Charlotte channel. And what you're going to find is a whole new world of video content. In fact, 848 videos and counting. But each segment that we produce for the Inside UNC Charlotte program is loaded shortly after the first airing as segments. So these are at your disposal for your viewing pleasure, but also to share with folks you know who might be interested in what's going on here at UNC Charlotte as well. So, as a way of closing today's edition of the Livewire, let's close with the segment from Inside UNC Charlotte that's all about Portal. Portal. It's the latest commitment of North Carolina's Urban Research University, designed to foster university-industry partnership aimed at business growth and job creation. The brand new Portal building is located at the main entrance to the Charlotte Research Institute on the UNC Charlotte campus, with immediate access to Highway 29 and University City's commercial and retail services.
Portal is an acronym for Partnership Outreach and Research to Accelerate Learning. It's a place where innovation and research and business development occurs by way of collaboration and partnership between industry, government, and university. It is a building that provides over 50,000 square feet of state-of-the-art business lease space, and it's located right here on the campus of UNC Charlotte. The second floor of Portal is really the main floor. It's a place that was designed to allow ideas and information exchange and social interactions to occur between entrepreneurs, established businesses, and university faculty and students. Included on the second floor is Ventureprise, which is our affiliate that will oversee our business incubator and accelerator in Portal.
We're in a building that's designed not only for entrepreneurs, but also as a location for corporate partners, larger organizations in the Charlotte area or elsewhere that may want to collaborate on research with the university, might want to do a training program with students. And so right in one building, we'll have the intellectual property assets of the college. We'll have that married up with corporate partners, with entrepreneurs, and so in one place, we bring those different communities together.
If you think of Portal as a place where business pioneering minds can power up through direct interaction with university talent, faculty, and students, it will contribute significantly to economic development in the Charlotte region.
When you bring the kind of intellectual capital that you have at a university together with business partners, you create the kinds of businesses that employ people and generate wealth.
Beginning in 2017, Portal will also have the benefit of being right next door to the light rail extension, which will come along on North Tryon, right at Portal's doorstep. So for businesses that call Portal their home, they'll be able to go right outside and get on the light rail extension and travel between uptown and back to campus.
Portal building is brand new. We have just recently opened. We're delighted to welcome entrepreneurs from the community who are doing innovation-driven businesses. They may have a new technology, they might have a new business model, new business process. We'd love to meet them. We're open for business with our own students here on campus, and we'll be communicating with them over the spring semester about how they can plug into activities. We're open for business working with our faculty and research community here at the university, helping them commercialize their inventions, bring those things to market for the benefit of the community. We're here really trying to help people innovate, interact, and ignite an entrepreneurial business explosion really in the Charlotte region.